Hi, I'm Orion. Last year I created a list of books, films, albums and TV shows that I wanted to watch before the year ended. Now, knowing me, I ended up not doing that, and so I decided to create this series as somewhat of a catch-up from last year. Now, at this point when this is being filmed, I essentially made the decision to scrap the entire series, but I still wanted to show you what I've been enjoying in the past 6 months, because yes, it took me up to June to decide to scrap this series, but I still wanted to show you what the things I have done and watched or read or listened to have been. This is the list, part 3 of 3. I read This Is Marketing by Seth Godin, and quite honestly, I think it might be one of the least favourite books I've ever read. It just, to me, it read just like jargon to me. Even as someone who wants to somewhat work in social media marketing, it just read like a wall of text. And it kept going and going and going. Yeah, no. Just no. I gave it a 1 out of 5. On to The Unfair Advantage. I just realised I didn't get the author or authors written down for this one, but it's a really great business book on sort of entrepreneurship and harnessing the advantages you have and looking at them and using them to, your advantage. It's like what the book says. I quite liked it. I give it a 4 out of 5. And in this little sprint, yes, I'm recording three mini reviews in one sitting. Paddle Your Own Canoe by Nick Offerman. There were some moments where I was like, oh god, this is some not great territory. In other ways, it was really entertaining, really funny, and kind of a self-help book that doesn't feel like it's too patronizing, and it feels like it's slightly more based on experience, which I know self-help books, most of them should be based on experience, hopefully, but yeah, it was really fun. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Hi, so I have just finished the final book in this whole project, Getting Things Done by David Allen. And yes, I've got my retainer in. That's why I might be a little bit rough talking. Yeah, it's a really good book about getting things done and systems to put in place. 3 out of 5. I give it that because it just felt so long. Also, this is like an ebook problem, but the formatting was just a mess. I essentially had to go several sizes up just to be able to properly read it, and it made it into 800 pages, the entire book, which feels like a joke. But anyway, that's all the books finished for the list, so yeah, I'm feeling good. Hi, so I finished listening to Free LSD by OFF. It's a really great chaotic sort of album. I rated it a 3 out of 5. I can't quite remember much of the details of it, but I guess it was enjoyable to listen to at the time. This is very much like a day after first listening to it, so I don't have all the details in my brain. So, part 3. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. So essentially, a lot of the things not being watched, and I'll say not being watched because most of the things were, you know, visual things. Essentially, it was just because of my backlog, and essentially because of the things that were in part 2 not being finished. I just decided, yeah, I never actually got to watch any of them. So I'll actually take you through the film of the week that I picked, Ponyo. I've watched it before, but I wanted to watch it again because I forgot about it, you know, and I never ended up watching it because I'm kind of a bit of an ordered person. You know, I want to watch things sequentially, and because I hadn't watched Free to Play in the past episode, I ended up just not even bothering with Ponyo. There was also a lot of albums that I didn't listen to. Again, I don't have them all noted down on my little notebook that I've been using to record these segments at the end. But my big series to watch was ReZero Season 2, because I'd been awaiting that for ages. And it came out not like last year or the year before, and I never watched it. And I still haven't. So, yeah. This series really started to become a bit of a disaster after like March, April time. I just grew out of it. I realised a lot of the things that I picked, I just wasn't passionate about. And hell, even in the first episode, there were things that I had decided to pick that were going to take me too long in the book segment. And I decided after the first episode I wanted to cull some bits. And this was a decision back in like February or March, whenever part 1 was... Whenever I've done watching or consuming the things from part 1, I wanted to cull some of the books. There was like a trilogy of books that I just knocked off. And yeah, this project kind of spiraled out of control as time went on. And at some point, like this month, I just decided, you know what? Let it go. It's time. You've spent too much time thinking about whether or not this is worth it. And you're just wasting your time at this point. Now, obviously, one of the big issues with this whole project, and I think is probably a big problem with a lot of things, is that I was treating media like content, as something to get through. And obviously, when a lot of these things are essentially art, it becomes a real sort of issue of when is something just watched for the sake of watching it alongside everyone. That is one of the big sort of things that I realised. I'm not watching it because I want to now. I'm watching it because I want to be in the know. And that really hindered a lot of my enjoyment with these things. So I just had to let go of this project. And sure, you might say, oh, you're a wimp, you should have just gotten done with it. But let's not forget, through a lot of this, I was planning my live event, which was a big part of my degree. And my degree has to come first, or at least had to come first at that point. Obviously now I've finished university, but that's another thing. This has felt like a bit of a ramble, but yeah, the list is over. As of the 6th, 7th even of June 2024, it is over. Obviously at the time of recording. I've been Orion, signing out.